Hey, are you there? I didn't hear the noise that I normally hear, which means my speakers are messed up. Why did it do that? All right. Hopefully you heard the intro. Gosh, this is bad. Hopefully you heard the intro just now. Change this up a little bit. You probably heard that. Oh my God. It's going to be one of those days, huh? Stupid thing. Stupid. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm still going to stay. I'm going to stay alive even with this stupidity. It's going to be one of those days on this too, huh? Okay. Well, great. Got a new microphone stand, but I'm going to change it back because it's just dumb. I don't even know where to start tonight. Probably, you might get to see me throw a microphone tonight. You might, if we get lucky. Smokes. I don't have a screwdriver to fix the microphone stand, so if it just falls in the middle, so be it. So be it. We're just going to do it anyway. How are you tonight? Let me check my settings because I don't even know if my microphone's working. It looks like it is. I have done a whole live stream without sound before. I'm not immune to that. I'd like to say we have a good show tonight, but I mean, the way it's going now, good Lord. How are you? Is the sound better? Because I'll be honest with you, that's part of the reason why things have gone so poorly the last couple of days. And we'll get into that. We're going to get into the housing market. We're going to get into just a series of unfortunate events. There was that Lemony Snicket's. I never watched it. I don't know if it was a movie or what, but I didn't watch it. Don't care. And you probably don't care about me either, being sad about stuff. But I mean, I figure like I should just get it out. I'm out of. It's the 23rd. I'm out of sync. I mean, obviously, and I'm sorry about that. But I think you could. I think you could do worse. I was trying to listen to a web recording today of a guy trying to sell like listing stuff, and it was just awful. It was just awful, and I couldn't stay on it for more than like 5 minutes. And let me just say, maybe that's our problem here. Maybe my delivery is so boring and so bad that, that I'm like that guy. I mean, I don't even know. See, we'll talk about it. I have a board now. I don't know what they call them even. A soundboard. And it's like, it went like quietly. So I don't know what to make of all this. Anyway, some of you might wonder who I am. Some of you might have forgotten. Some of you have never seen me before. My name is John Schenk. I am the founder and managing broker of Deerwood Realty in St. Louis, Missouri. We're a small residential firm. How small are we? It's just me. and what I do is I help buyers buy homes and sellers sell theirs. I'm trying to get to a live stream during the day. I've just been swamped and things have not gone well, but I am trying to move to the day. But it's been so long. I did want to do a stream at night, and so here we are. This is during prime time. I mean, there's probably a million other shows you could be watching right now, but you've chosen mine, so I do feel a little bit of, how do I put it? I'm flattered. So thank you for that. Gosh. It's been tough. It's been tough. I mean, I don't know how to, well, first of all, I don't like those videos. I watch them. They're clickbait on YouTube, especially. You'll say like, this is the end. It'll be all capitals. Or this is my last show. And you'll see a guy in a hospital bed and it looks like he's dying, or a girl. And you're like, I mean, a lot of people watch those videos. I don't want to watch them because I don't want to see somebody if they really are dying. And then if they're not, I feel bad because, I clicked on it and they tricked me. That being said, part of the reason for my live stream is clearly not, to gain millions of followers, because there's no one. There's just no one. Although, thank you to the guy that subscribed today, 136. That was, I had it this weekend and then lost it. So I'll probably lose this one again too, but I don't know. Anyway, I lost my train of thought. Oh, you shouldn't feel sorry for me, right? We don't watch the program because you feel sorry for me. Whatever problems I might have, they're nothing compared to other people. And I'm not interested. I live a life of gratitude, and I always have thought that way, and I always will think that way. So you're not going to get feel sorry for me, but I am going to go over stuff because I just want to share it to the outside world. And you say, maybe you shouldn't share that. And I'm like, no, I need to get it out because it's been rattling around my head since about noon today. And I've just had enough. So we'll talk about it. Will it make me feel better? I don't know. I couldn't even get my microphone to work correctly here. That's how the day is going. So that being said, I think what we're going to do, first of all, I don't know if I'm going to be talking for an hour or not. I really don't know. I have no idea. I'm just going to put on my show, and we're going to kind of go in a timely, this is what happened. It's going to be a timeline type thing. We're going to talk about the housing market tonight. We're going to talk about some stuff I saw that was just odd. And maybe you'll think the same way. I don't know. And so I don't even know how to do this, but let's get started. I am the type of person that can handle one thing going wrong, or two things going wrong, or three things going wrong. Sorry, one of my settings. If I look really, really white tonight, I'm sorry. I've got my ISO settings a little bit off because I'll talk about that too, but I had a plan for that. Anyway, I feel like I can handle one thing going wrong a day, or two things, or three things. And of course, I'll qualify that by saying it has to be manageable. The problem has to be in such a way that it can be, compartmentalized. But if I start feeling like things are going south and there's a lot of things nagging me, I don't do well. And that's the point. That's where I'm at now. And you can just tell by the way, my thoughts are just flying around in my head. And so let's get to where I am as of right now. It's a miracle that I can even stream to you tonight based on the week I've had, and it's just Monday. Okay? So it starts off last week, and I can't remember what I was doing, but I was talking with a friend, and I was like, hey, I don't like the way my sound works on my microphone. I've invested a lot of money into it. I got a nice microphone. I got Electro Voice RE20, or it's an EV20. I don't remember, but I get it confused. I think it's one of the best mics you can have. The other one's, it's going to be that of the Shure SM7B, and I'm not gonna use that one. I came off of having a Rode pod mic, and I think they've switched to a pod mic. I think they've improved it since I got it. But anyway, back in the day, it was always going to be I was going to buy the pod mic, and then I was going to buy the Rodecaster. Okay, and then something happened. I watched other YouTubers, and nobody was using the pod mic. Okay, and by the way, I'd used Rode before. I had used them when I had wireless microphones. I have two wireless microphones through them, and so I think I have two. They're around somewhere, but I haven't done anything live or out in public in so long that it doesn't really matter. But they were the square ones, and at the time, the square ones looked weird because everyone else had the lapel ones. Anyway, so I was a fan of Rode, and the idea was, hey, I have a Scarlett Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 3rd generation. I bought one along with my microphone, so I spent quite a bit of money to improve my sound on the live streams. Now, I thought that I had that problem fixed, but it never did. My voice never did sound the way I wanted it to. There is a sound I'm looking for that didn't happen with the Focusrite. And also with the Focusrite, it wasn't good enough for me. It just wasn't good enough. I couldn't adjust my sound in the way I wanted to. I could adjust the gain, but that wasn't what I wanted. Plus, I ended up with a cloud lifter. But the original plan had always been pod mic and then a Rodecaster, the original one. But at the time, the Rodecaster was very expensive, and I wasn't comfortable doing that. So I was talking to my friend, and he had gotten the Go XLR, and he has a Shure SMB7 or SM7B, and so I thought this would be good. But he bought it, and then the week after he bought it, they dropped the price like $200, and so he's livid. Okay, and I get it. I don't even know that you need with the Shure. I don't even know if you need a board, but he's got one, and he was happy with it. But I was talking to him about it, and he said, "Yeah, man, you should probably get a Rodecaster." Now the Rodecaster came out with a Rodecaster ProII. Okay, that's the newest model you can get, and so I looked up for a couple hours. I looked up reviews on the Rodecaster ProII. I looked up videos. I watched videos. There's a Kettering creative. They're out there. He has all kinds of videos about microphones and stuff. And while I read the reviews on Amazon, B&H Photo, Google, some of them were in a different language, which I didn't really read them very well. Everyone said there are some problems with it, but they're going to get them worked out and it's going to be great. So I thought, well, hell, I'm already in it. I'm not going to, the Focusrite, there's no future there for me. And I'm not real excited about having the cloud lifter anymore because, now I got all these wires on my desk, one board with good sound and the ability to down the road, if I want to have a live, if I want to talk between two people, live in the studio, which would be amazing, but at the same time, not likely right now. But it could be done. I'd have the Rodecaster ProII to be able to handle all my sound and not worry about it. That was the thinking. And so I bought it. Okay. I bought it and it arrived, I believe, on Friday. Okay. I think that's what it was. I can't remember for sure. Might have gotten it Saturday morning. Let me check. It does matter to the story because I'm trying to explain what happened. I know. It had to be Friday. It's Friday. Don't even worry about it. So Friday gets here, and I have the basement issue. I had a sinus infection last week. Made me dizzy. I didn't want to work on the basement when I was dizzy on the basement sewer line lateral. I didn't want to do that. I just didn't feel comfortable with that. And I felt terrible. And so I tried to recover up until about Friday. I was feeling better. Friday morning, I get an email from one of my buyers. They sent me a nice email and said, hey, look, you can stop sending me listings because the stuff that I see on the marketplace right now is way worse than what I own currently. And I'll just stick with what I have. I'll just fix my house up the way I want to, and we're done. Now, for most agents, it's disappointing. For me, disappointing, but I don't care. For my buyers, at least, I just want them to be happy with their house. And for sellers, the same way. And I want them to be confident in their decision. So if the buyer, a potential new buyer says, I'm not going to buy another house, you won't get me going in there telling them that they should buy a house when they don't feel like they should. I'm not into selling people stuff. I don't do it well. I should get better at it, I guess, but I'm not going to do it. So then that was a kick in the teeth though, because I'd spent some time on that. I'd shown some houses, and people will write on Reddit that agents should expect to show houses and not sell houses. You expect to show, it's based, they say that it's okay to show a bunch of houses because a real estate agent has that priced into their model. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I don't mind showing people houses and then they deciding they don't want to buy a house. It happens, but there's no pricing into my model. This doesn't make any sense. How would I know who's going to buy a house and who isn't to price how many houses I'm going to show into the model? It's stupid. People that don't do real estate often say stuff about real estate that's just dumb. So anyway, I know 15 minutes into it, I should probably get going, but you know what? I'm not. I'm doing this. I'm doing this the way I want to. So kick in the teeth, but look, I've got a Rodecaster ProII coming to my house. Okay. And go look on Amazon for what it costs. It's the best board you can get for me in my situation. Okay. And I like technology. I like all this stuff. I mean, I got called a boomer by somebody on one of the YouTube shorts, and I'm fine with that. Fine. I'm a boomer. I'm old. I'm getting older. But new technology, new stuff like that, and like excitement. I'm gonna get you guys good sound. Okay. I'm gonna solve a problem. In the meantime, I'm like, I don't like the way my microphone is set up. The other day, like you saw my microphone. That thing was huge. But it wasn't the microphone itself. It was the shock mount for the microphone. It was like bigger than the microphone, and it looks stupid. And I'm not saying that this looks the best, because if you can see like right, I don't know why this isn't. So it's right here. Is that where it is? Right here? Where is it? I'm going along here. I'm trying to find this thing right here. Now I go down. Yeah. This is in the way. I need to fix that. Maybe. But you already saw, I can't even get the thing to work. But anyway, I got rid of that particular mount. It was expensive. I bought it with the microphone. Anyway, put a different one on. I don't know if it's that much better. I can see the screen better and I can see you better, but you saw what happens. It sags. I thought I have a favorite streamer, and I'm not going to tell you who it is, because maybe someday I'll get him on the show if I can get some reason for him. There's a clue to be on the show, but I thought that he has an Electro Voice RE20, EV20, RE20, and I thought he had it on his desk because I've never seen the arm, but he has it on a shock mount somehow, so I don't know how he's doing it. All I know is my situation's not great. Because when I went to go, I have a desktop mount, and when I used it, it was like up to here. Like the microphone was literally up to here. So nothing was going right. I lost a buyer. I'm getting a Rodecaster ProII. Before I start the Rodecaster ProII, I'm working on my microphone mounts, and they're looking stupid. Not good. Not good. So that's Friday. Friday night, I get the Rodecaster Pro. Okay, I'm excited. Okay, I'm excited. It's like a kid in Christmas. And so I want to do a stream, of course, right? But you know me, I like to have some real estate stuff to talk about. So anyway, I plug in the Rodecaster, I take all the parts off, and my friends like texting me, how is it? Show me pictures, and I'm showing pictures, and I got no sound. It's not even connecting to my computer. There's like it's not even connecting. So for an hour, I'm like, my computer won't even acknowledge it. It's like, I don't even know what this is. And then I'm like, I'm already not feeling great, because on the Rodecaster ProII, it has this pad. And I might do a video separate about this tomorrow, because this is ridiculous. $700. I don't know if I told you that before. $700 for a Rodecaster ProII. And the thing that they've got around it, like the top of it, isn't even glued down to the board. It's coming up in 4 different places. So now I've got this plastic toy, $700. It's coming unglued at the corners, and I just bought it. So that's a little bit irritating. I can't get the thing to work. All right. And like, this was supposed to be plug and play perfect. Change a few settings, good to go. I'm going to have the best sound ever. And now all of a sudden I can't even get the thing to work. And so by the way, I've read the reviews, and there was like, some people say, well, the power button is stupid. We'll get to that. They say, you know, the other one had 36 screws. This one doesn't have any, and it's stupid. And I was like, you know what? Those people are just bitter. So I was reading around, not because at this point I can't even get it to start. So I was going around the internets, and I get to this site that says, oh, you need to download this ASIO for all, right? So I download that, right? Oh, all of a sudden it works. It works. Great. So now it's working. I go and I test the sound and mess around with it a little bit, and it's crackling. Like, I'm talking and it's crackling and clicking and popping, which is driving me nuts. Because this happened on my other Focusrite at first, and I had to adjust all this stuff in the back end that is just, it makes no sense. Like, for me, no offense, I sell real estate. I don't know about like buffering and latency, and I shouldn't have to be honest with you. It should just be plug and play. I mean, we've got AI writing scripts now. We should be able to have a device you literally plug in and it works. Like, in 1998, this would have worked. So anyway, I messed around with stuff. I can't get it fixed. So Friday night now, I spent from about 3 o'clock in the afternoon to about 10. I got nothing. I got nothing. Saturday, I have nothing in the sense, no stream for everybody. And you know, you're supposed to be consistent with your streams. I can't be consistent with my streams when I can't do this. Saturday rolls around. I get back, I go to lunch with my wife. We went to Stacked in St. Louis. It's very good. If you ever get to St. Louis and want a good hamburger, they have a pretty good hamburger. Although that didn't go well. My wife gets a turkey burger. The turkey burger was terrible. I'm just telling you this because it just adds to it. So I got Saturday, I have no microphone. I mean, I can't possibly broadcast with this clicking, popping garbage. We got no good turkey burger. Now at Stack, they're very nice, and they said, you know, hey, we're sorry, this is terrible. You can have a free burger on us. We're good. So it worked out, but it was still an annoyance. Get home. Oh, in the morning, I did start messing with it, and I noticed that like it takes, like where I was plugging it in, like it was kind of bending the USBs in a weird way. And I was like, well, that's got to be the problem. My friend said it's got to be the cable. I'm looking online. I'm ready to buy any, like the Midori cables or whatever. I mean, I'm ready to buy whatever. I come home after the, actually that morning I ordered from Amazon 2 standoffs. They were supposed to be here at like 6 that same day, 2 USB extension standoffs so that it wasn't like going bad. I don't know why I thought that was the case, but the reason why I thought the popping might be the same issue as before was because it never did it when I used to have the voice meter. It worked fine. So it didn't work right with the Focusrite, and I ended up switching that to the USB 2.0 or whatever. It was certainly not 3.0. Anyway, I wanted to plug the Rodecaster Pro into the USB 3.0. So I did that. So then when I open up the box of my computer, because I thought something was wrong, there's all this dust that I got from the darn basement remodel or basement sewer lateral. So now I look inside and like my processor, like the cooler on top of is covered in, and so I was like, we need to fix that. And then, so I needed one of those cans of spray because it was really bad. And I go to the Sam's is closing at 6. They sell like 4 cans for $15. Walgreens. I went to Walmart. I was looking for a can of the spray. They don't have it. Just come back to the house, run over to Sam's for a 4-pack. Walgreens had it for $10 for one. That's a little bit high. So $15 for 4. I get those, come back, spray it out. I've got it all cleaned out inside. The standoffs, the USB standoffs arrive from Amazon, same day. So I'm kind of in business here. So I put on the standoffs, plug everything in. And by the way, on Friday night, I noticed the Rodecaster ProII doesn't turn off automatically. It doesn't go into like a sleep mode. So you literally have to press the button on the back to turn it on and turn it off. And when you try to turn it off, it asks you on the screen, do you really want to turn it off? Oh, I really want it to go into standby when I'm not using it. I never want to turn it off and on by the switch. But anyway, go to turn on my computer and the computer won't turn on. So now I can't stream because I don't have a computer. I don't have a computer even. At first I had crappy sound, but at least I had a computer. Now I don't even have that. And it's the weekend. And what am I going to do? So the only thing I did, I unplugged everything, left the case open, and turned it on, and it managed to work. But I didn't think anything of it. So my stepdaughter needed a letter. So I wrote a letter real quick and printed it off. Everything was fine. Sunday morning, I wake up, which is always a benefit. And I'm going to get this sound fixed. So I go to turn on my computer. It doesn't start. Now I gotten the Rodecaster on. Okay. I got it working. I got the clicking sound. You know what it was? It was what I said it was. It was the USBs. They were kind of tight in there at the 3.0 and they were like kind of hitting each other. And I don't think that the computer could process the sound fast enough on USB 2.0 or 1 point whatever, or whatever I have besides 3.0. I just don't think it was able to process it. I think the sound was coming through. You tell me if I'm clicking now, I apologize. Because if I haven't listened to, I probably did 50 tests, changing the latency and all that garbage Friday night and Saturday. Sunday, like I said, I get up, the computer, I don't know if it started for me now. I don't remember if I shut off the computer the night before. Anyway, I've got it. And I turned it off fine Saturday night. Sunday morning, I go to turn on. It won't turn on again. I'm like, what is this about? Like, I thought that I sprayed some like dust that ended up getting stuck like on one of the buttons or something. I thought my power supply died. I mean, I was all over the place. I had no idea what was going on. All I know is I couldn't turn on my computer and it worked just fine Thursday. So Friday night, side note, Friday night, I have a deal going on. The agent calls me Friday night at 6:00 and says, what was I going to say? Oh, the agent called me and she's like, hey, might have a problem with the closing next week. Now, she'd sent me all these form emails the week before about how I needed to do this, that, and make sure everything was right for her. And now Friday afternoon at 6:00, she's saying, we didn't get loan commitment. Even though she sent over a loan commitment letter that was subject to like 4 things. And so now I've got a closing on this Friday coming up. I've got an agent telling me they don't know what's going on. Okay. I've got my computer's done. I can't get it to turn on. And I can't really tell my sellers what's going on because I don't know. I have no idea what's going on. And the lady says, I got to talk to the insurance lady. The only number that I have is a office number, and it's 6 o'clock on a Friday. No one's going to call, no one's going to call me back. And I'm like, obviously. And this person's a pro. I'm not worried about it. They're a great buyer's agent, work for a great team. Everything's going to be fine. So I'm on Sunday. I've got these issues outstanding. Okay. I've got the sewer lateral in my house doesn't work for the kitchen. Also Saturday, I probably did dishes I dried dishes with my wife for 2 hours because we had a party Thursday night for a birthday. And so all this stuff is going on. Get in my car Sunday and I'm going to go somewhere. First time I left the house in a couple days. And I mean that. My wife had used the car, but I did not need to leave the house on Friday and Saturday. Or no, Saturday I left it. Oh, Saturday I had the hamburger and stacked. Anyway, things were acting a little weird. So my car, I have a Subaru Outback, 2015 Subaru Outback, 3.6 Premier Limited, 3.6 Limited. And as I'm driving it, it's trying to shift gears. And you'd be like, well, that's okay, John. That's totally normal. Well, I've got a CVT transmission and it's not normal. There's no gear shifting in my CVT transmission. And I'm like, this can't be happening, right? You already know that I only have one car, right? You already know that I've decided I'm not going to get on the used car craziness right now. I'm going to wait until the market goes down a little bit. So you know this about me. And you know that I need one car. I mean, we definitely need one. We have another car, but it's for the stepdaughter, so whatever. And so now all of a sudden, when I'm driving it, but I can't believe this. I can't believe that from Thursday to Sunday, things could be going so wrong. And you say, well, John, those problems aren't very bad. They're easily overcome. Yes, I get it, but I'm living the life right now. I'm in it. So it's bothersome. So around 6 o'clock Sunday, I take the car out again and it's doing the same thing. And I asked my wife, I said, did you notice anything weird about driving the car? And she's like, well, I went over some bumps and it seems like it was acting up. So Sunday, I needed to print something off for my stepdaughter again. So I go to turn on the computer, won't turn on. It's like, come on. Turn on the computer. No. So I sprayed stuff on the button and everything. No. I unplug everything in the back. The computer turns on totally normal. Everything's fine. What is this going on? So I'm thinking about this for an hour or two. I finally come up to this idea. It's got to be the Rodecaster ProII. When I plug it in, my computer will not turn on. That seems stupid, right? That doesn't make any sense. So then I go on Reddit. And I didn't go on Reddit. I just searched Google. I just searched for the issue. Turns out it's an issue. Turns out Rodecaster knows about it. Turns out there's nothing to be done. Right now. Oh, and by the way, I emailed Rode because it's like, can I leave this on all day so I don't have to deal with at least unplugging it all the time? Rode's support system says it's 48 hours normally, but we're experiencing high volume, so expect 72 hours or longer for us to get back to you. So now I figured out, hey, and by the way, it wasn't obvious to me that it was the USB thing. I thought I needed a sound card, and I'm looking up sound cards in 2023. Okay. Cause I don't know. Like maybe my processor is just so overtaxed that it needs a sound sound card to fix this issue. And so I'm looking for the best sound cards during lunch with my wife. That was on Saturday. I finally decided Sunday I'm not buying a sound card because it's just not going to happen. I don't care. Anyway, I'm driving the car Saturday night. The car's doing the same shifting thing. I got the Rodecaster back, although I figured out now that I have to keep it unplugged. And I'm coming into Monday, right? Yay. Really looking forward to this. Monday's shaping up to be a great day. And it is Monday. So first thing is get up, drive the wife to work, right? And it's not that far or anything. I don't want you to think that and I really actually enjoy spending time with my wife. So I take her to work. Car's fine. Car's great. So, hey, look, Monday's starting good. The car fixed itself, right? Yeah. So then, now I decide it gets a little bit later. I decide I'm going to go to lunch. I like lunch. So I order lunch from my place, come back, the email, or I get a phone call as I have my hot lunch. As I'm getting ready to eat it, I get a call from the other agent. And like, I'm sitting there thinking, should I take this call or should I just let it go? I was like, if I let it go and it goes to voicemail, I'm going to have to call her back. I don't really want to do that. So I answer the phone. Yada, yada, yada. Long story short, U.S. Bank is a terrible organization for me in listings because they will not grant a mortgage to the buyer. They found some insurance issue with the HOA where they're required to have 3 months of insurance and the HOA only has 1 month of insurance. And they just happened to find this 4 days before the close. And so they've denied the loan and they're not going to make a change. They said if the HOA decides to add 2 more months to the indemnity, then they'll go ahead and give us the loan. But the HOA is not going to do that because it's stupid. It's almost like U.S. Bank was looking for a way out of this loan and they found it. U.S. Bank, not my friend. Not my friend. So now that deal's done, right? And we may get our earnest money. We'll get earnest money from the buyer, but this isn't a good thing. Okay. And I want to be very clear with you. 37 minutes in, I don't want deals to collapse. Okay. Here's why I don't want deals to collapse. Number one, I want the buyer and seller to both be as happy as possible. Okay. We didn't have too bad of a negotiation. Everything went well. The seller was still ready to sell to this buyer and the buyer was still ready to buy. The buyer has already given notice that they're moving out of their apartment and moving into this house. The buyer already has the occupancy permit in their name because they're moving in. They've already got the $1,000 escrow money out and they've already switched the utilities for the day after closing. And we have a closing statement done at title. Title has done their job. They're completely ready to go on Friday. Everything is done. And now right at the last minute, U.S. Bank screws this up. Now, cynically, in 2007, 2008, what happened was the appraisers got hit way before anybody else. The lending practices are what got hit. If you want to regulate the housing market, you regulate lending. I'm just putting it out there. Maybe they don't like what their balance sheet's looking like at U.S. Bank. Maybe they're thinking things are going to change and they don't want to be a part of it. I don't know. I'm speculating. I have no idea. I have an opinion. But the other agent worked all this time on this deal. I worked on this deal. It's not like the title company worked on this deal. Everyone worked on this deal. And now we're at this stage where literally 4 days before closing, it's not going to close. Now, I'm not happy about this because I'm not happy for the buyer. I'm not mad. Why would I be mad at the buyer? What did they do wrong? I'm mad at the lender. Very mad at the lender. But here's this poor person that's moving into this condo and they can't. So now I don't know what they're going to do, but they've got money out. My seller has money out because they fixed part of fixed some things on the inspection. Plus time. I've got to take this thing back to market 30 days later. That's what the normal closing is. We're going to be in the middle of February. Do you know what the market's like in January and February in St. Louis? It's terrible. Terrible. So anyway, now I've got that. I've got the Rodecaster ProII, thoroughly disappointing me. I mean, what a disaster of a product. I mean, this product, it could be $200. It could be the Scarlett Focusrite Generation 3 2i2, and I wouldn't know the difference. As bad as this is, I don't even have to unplug the Focusrite. I don't have to unplug it every night, and it's a third of the cost. It's just stupid. Anyway, so now I've got a deal that's collapsed. By the way, when I'm at lunch, my car's doing the thing where it's shifting again, and my car doesn't shift. That's not good. So it wasn't fixed overnight. So I've got that. Deal blows up. Rodecaster is a terrible mess. Rodecaster ProII. And you could say, like, John, why didn't you read the reviews? They said it was horrible. I read the reviews. The thing came out like 6 months ago. You'd think they'd have their stuff fixed by now. I couldn't even get it to connect to the internet. I couldn't get it to connect to my computer, and you have to do a firmware upgrade. So I finally do that. I use Wi-Fi. It's just a mess. And I'm thinking about doing a video on the Rodecaster ProII, just a standalone video. But you know, I'm not good at that format anymore. I can't really show on the camera. Like, I don't really have it. I have my stationary camera. I don't really have like a GoPro or anything to show you what I'm doing on my desk. Plus my desk is full of dust because I've been digging in the concrete and cutting concrete in my basement while I'm doing this sewer line. Just an absolute mess. So 3 things. Well, no, 4 things. I lost a buyer. The Rodecaster ProII and I are not friends. US Bank and I are not friends. And my car is not friends with me. I mean, I'm amazed at Rode for putting out this product like this. This was not ready. This was not ready. So, by the way, I've sent the email in to ask if I can leave it on. I don't know if I can. I'll wait for 72 hours for an email response. And, you know, in this day and age, I don't really expect anything by email anyway. I asked Lufthansa to make sure they credit my miles. And I sent that about, 2 months ago, and I never heard back from them. So, and it's not in my spam and anything like that. So anyway, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm coming. I'm not coming to you today from a position of happiness, enjoyment. Well, this is sort of making me feel better. The microphone, you saw it, it dropped down before I started. I don't know how to fix that. And it's actually the RE20 stand, that part of it. So I don't know why that happened. Let me know what you think of the microphone. One thing that happened to me today that made me happy is I got a new subscriber, number 136. If you like hearing what a real estate agent deals with every day, real estate broker, if you want to know about real estate news, commentary, life in general, as I see it, you should subscribe. You could do a lot worse. I heard that webinar today. That thing was horrible. I was off of it in like 6 minutes. I'm going to throw away. I have a little aluminum foil. I was going to throw it away. So it'll get better, right? It's just so many things at once. It's hard for me to, you know. Let me know what you think of the microphone. Let me know what you think of the board. We're going to get into it now, and I'll probably screw this up. Now, understand, even to do my live stream tonight, I hit the wrong button and I went live, and I had it all written out, and the description was very nice and everything. Then I wasn't going live. Then I was still doing other things. So, you know, it just keeps going. If I screw this up, don't make fun of me. Well, you can make fun of me all you want to, but just know that I'm not anticipating a great deal of success at this point tonight. The thing that I love right now is I've managed to make it on a live stream with you on Monday night. Given all the things that have happened, it's okay. I'll take it. The bar is not that high. Let's get to it now. So I don't know if I don't know if I'm going to preface things. Anyway, Google Trends article. I saw the Oxford Dictionary. that wasn't so exciting. I figured I'd do another thing. I didn't see this when it came out. I wanted to talk about it. I don't know if you can see it. It looks like you can. Oh yeah, you can. Okay. It says Oxford Dictionaries announces its word of the year for 2022, goblin mode. I've never heard of this. Now, that doesn't mean that, it's not their problem. I haven't heard of it. I just didn't know. It says as 2022 nears its end, dictionaries are chiming in on the word that best encompasses the year. And according to Oxford Dictionaries, goblin mode is the 2022 word of the year. The company annually chooses a word of the year, but this time it let the public cast votes to choose among 3 finalists. Over 2 weeks, more than 300,000 people weighed in, and on Monday, the dictionary announced goblin mode was the winner. Now, to me, honestly, I get 6 people on my live stream after 4 days. So 300,000 people for something like known like Oxford, that's all the votes you got? Do better. It says it defines goblin mode as a slang term for a type of behavior which is unapologetically self-indulgent, lazy, slovenly, or greedy, typically in a way that rejects social norms or expectations. So I picture that like back in the day, the gamer that had the Cheetos on their fingers and they just ate all day and they were just sitting on their couch playing games all day. That apparently is my understanding of goblin mode. Now, maybe I'm wrong. By the way, I don't know if I like the all black. Let me know if you like the all black. It's a bit striking. It says Oxford Dictionary says its annual word of the year reflects the mood for the past 12 months and that also seeks to choose something with the potential for lasting cultural significance. Past Oxford words of the year include vax in 2021, climate emergency in 2019, and selfie in 2013. Well, this begs the question, what was 2014? What was 2015? 2016, 17, 18? What was 2020? And what is this now? 2022. Goblin mode got its start on Twitter in 2009. Like, they know this. I can't even, 2009, I was still around. But the term went viral in February 2022. Didn't know that. It says the expression's rise in popularity coincided with the easing of COVID restrictions. More people started venturing out of their homes. Some rejected or struggled with the return to normalcy and continued their lives unapologetically in goblin mode. I don't know who these people are. I don't know what this means. It says goblin mode really does speak to the times in the zeitgeist. Does it? And it is certainly a 2022 expression that it's 2023. I didn't even know about this word. People are looking at social norms in new ways. It gives people license to ditch social norms and embrace new ones. American linguist and lexicographer Ben Zimmer said at an event for Oxford Dictionaries. I don't know what a linguist and lexicographer are. I don't know about embracing new norms. It says, while it is a casual term often seen on social media, it has made its way into major news publications too, like when the Times of London published an opinion piece in which the author said too many people had embraced goblin mode in response to a difficult year. I know nothing about this. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It just says the second place winner Oxford's word of the year was metaverse, which is stupid. It's just basically invented by Facebook. And then the definition is a hypothetical virtual reality environment in which users interact with one another's avatars and their surroundings in an immersive way, sometimes posited as a potential extension of or replacement for the internet, World Wide Web, social media, etc., according to the dictionary. Though the word metaverse has been around since the early 90s, it really took off in the past year as Facebook attempted to rebrand itself as a metaverse company. Yes, they did. I do remember that. We were all supposed to buy real estate in the metaverse because it's cheap. In third place, I stand with, a hashtag used to express solidarity with a specific cause group or person, the dictionary says. So I stand with the current thing, is what they mean. Oxford is just one of several major dictionary companies vying to find the word for the year. Last month, Merriam-Webster selected gaslighting as its 2022 word of the year. And Collins English Dictionary went with permacrisis. I like permacrisis for this year for me because this is ridiculous. I've had a run here that I'm not pleased with. By the way, very, very angry that the deal's dead. Like internally, like very angry. So angry that I was like, I want to work on the basement floor, but I don't want to have a heart attack. Like, I'm at that age where I'm worried about having a heart attack. So anyway, my word of the year for 2023, I don't know. 2022, I don't know. I never really thought about it. Here, I'm going to get my drink. I've got to go over the board underneath the microphone thing, get a drink and repeat. This is stupid. Word of the year, recession. Word of the year, I don't do housing market collapse because I don't really, I mean, that's a weird thing. We've talked about it. I mean, what is a collapse? If house prices have gone up 100% and then they're down 30%, is that a collapse? It just depends on when you bought. Deerwood Realty, what are we doing with interest rates? Interest rates are important. Mortgage rates, I'm sorry. 30-year fixed, 6.20 survey today, up from 6.15, a 5% or 5 basis points increase from Friday. You know, I'd like to be at 5.50 as a high. And you say, well, why? I just think it's easier to buy a house that way. That's why. I think it's easier to sell a house that way too. I was looking though, and the last time I did a live stream, it was like 6.11%. So it has gone up a little bit from there. But I'm sorry. Let me get back to the little chart here. If you look at the chart, it looks like it rolled over right here. Back in the 7s. Moving on. Let's do some tweets. Yay. First up, housing bubble disrespecter says, choose your fighter. It says, a Redditor says that if there isn't a housing crash, there will be a crash in society. Riots and outright anarchy in the streets, it will be homeowners versus the renters. Let's read that. I don't know. It says no housing crash equals societal collapse. Since there's tons of posts here recently that shares there won't be a crash sentiment, I want to ask, what is the alternative? If the income to house price ratio continues to be so far off, won't there be societal collapse, mass immigration away from high cost of living countries, U.S. remote workers escaping to South America, mass exodus of blue-collar workers from high cost of living areas to lower cost of living areas where jobs now pay nearly the same, less immigrants wanting to come to the U.S. and do those blue-collar jobs when they check rent prices prior to booking their ticket. To put simply, my parents had children by the early 20s, and so did most of their friends and colleagues. Out of 50-plus total people I know personally aged 20 to late 30s, I counted only 4 who have at least one child. Many people my age who I ask about this say they're not truly child-free by choice. They all entertain the idea of starting a family if they had the space, home to do it, and could be near a good school. It says, if prices don't come down, what happens to society? How can you think the houses won't crash if there is no scenario where life goes on and everything doesn't collapse unless they do? I do have a concern for the rental, the own nothing and like it crowd. I don't like it. I don't like it. And it seems like it's being presented to people in weird ways. Like, do you remember the scooters that used to like litter most downtown areas? I don't know if they still exist anymore, but there was these e-scooters, and if you put money on your app, I don't know if they still exist. Again, maybe they're very popular. Doesn't matter. I'm not using them. But you didn't own the scooter, okay? And so there's no need to lock it up. You could just use the scooter. And the same thing with the house now. You don't need to own a house. You can pay an exorbitant amount of rent to live in a house. But if you spend, and the issue is everyone wants a house, or many people want a house, and yet they can't afford a house because the rent payments are so high they can't save for a home purchase. It's terrible. Terrible. I don't know that there has to be a crash in society. We didn't see a crash in society in 2009, 2008 when the housing market collapsed. In fact, they papered over it. The government did everything they could to just paper over it and pretend it wasn't happening. And that seems to be the way we solve things, is we just pretend it's not happening. Do you think, you put it in the comments, you put it in the chat, do you think that we have to have societal collapse if the housing market doesn't crash? I mean, look, it doesn't feel comfortable for me right now. It seems like as a percentage of your wage, housing is way, way too expensive to continue like this. But that's just me. I'm just one guy. Let me know. Edison Del Maestro, sinking a $2 million new construction house in Fairfax County. The sink doesn't work. The $2 million home sink does not work. It's not supposed to do that. Okay? See, it's supposed to do that. I don't know. Can you see it? Yeah, you can see it. But see, it turns black now because I was off the screen. But yeah, so that's no good. Okay? I don't know. No, there's nothing else. It's only 12 seconds. So $2 million house, you'd think that anywhere, you'd think that would work. Then he comes on and he says, oh, and Home Depot store brand finest for the toilets. Yes, Glacier Bay is the Home Depot store brand. Now, would a lot of people know that ahead of time? Have we, I mean, is the American Standard toilet the #1 toilet brand in the United States? I don't know. Put it in the comment section. And then it says, the kitchen has incredible commercial grade stainless appliance, but the deck railing is cheap and hollow plastic. And the bedroom has a mini fridge just like the old college dorm. This makes me laugh. $2 million for this garbage. I'm putting that myself. I'm not. I'm going to put forth a theory here. If you're a youngster, and I say youngster being like the age of maybe 35 years and younger, okay? Some of these things you don't even know what to like expect because they've always been garbage in your entire lifetime. Let's put an example out there. So a hand tool. My dad had tools, okay, that his grandfather had. All right. And the reason why he had those is because they lasted forever. Now, like, do you think that grandpa's handing down a battery powered drill to the grandson? To even the father? Ain't happening. Ain't happening. It's more expensive and it doesn't work as well. And go down the line. Look, my Rodecaster ProII. You know how I've always said, I don't think we're getting better. This thing is horrible. Like, this is an embarrassment that you would put a product out like this for that money. And yet they may struggle to make a profit at that number. It's ridiculous. Daniel Feldman, does anyone else feel like maintaining a house is an entire second very expensive full-time job? Said by someone who was up until 2 a.m. last night debugging an appliance issue. It says, oh, wow, this seems to have hit a nerve. For context, I live in a 100-year-old house in Minneapolis where the weather is trying to kill you constantly, and I don't make the kind of money that would allow just completely renovating everything or paying a manager's. Results may vary. Look, I do feel that way. I have a trench. I have a 2-foot, 3-foot trench in my basement right now. Okay? I have no kitchen sink being able to be used. I have no dishwasher. Okay? I literally have to do this myself. If I were to have somebody come in and do it, they're not going to fix the floor the way I want it. I have an insulated floor. They're not going to fix that. They're just going to rip everything else. And then I'm going to have to buy new flooring. That's going to cost me $5,000 for the whole basement. Plus, I have to move everything in every room again. I put the flooring in myself once. I don't really want to do it again. I'm sorry I have an itchy nose all of a sudden. Probably the dust from the kitchen stuff. When I finish with this, okay, my wife has me, I have to fix the upstairs. There's like a crack developing in a wall. Got to fix that. Wife doesn't like either the bathrooms. The outside needs work. I mean, it just goes on and goes on and goes on. And you say, well, look, that's the joy of home ownership. I know I say it all the time sarcastically. It is some measure better, some small measure better than renting. I think, long term. Not for the financing. I don't care about that at this point. I'm not going to get an argument which is better over time. I'm just saying, look, this is ridiculous. It shouldn't be this difficult. But look, I have a 60-year-old house. And go try to buy a new house that has the same square footage that I have for the money that I paid for this house. Amy Nixon, she used to be Texas runner DFW. I don't know why she changed, but we have to be careful about this. But it says in Weimar, Germany, or Weimar, or Weimar, 1923, some observations on real estate. It says, interestingly, owning real estate proved disastrous for many people in Weimar, Germany. If I got that wrong, make fun of me. It's okay. I get it. There's no detailed analysis in Brescani-Tironi's study, but the anecdotal references are hardly encouraging. Rents were regulated by law, and the rapid inflation of 1922 and 1923 could apparently not be adjusted quickly enough. Real estate became a zero-yielding asset while maintenance costs exploded. In 2023, the USA, it says, White House prepares new tenant protections, alarming housing industry. Democrats want the administration to enact new restrictions on rent hikes and punish landlords they accuse of price gouging. Well, that's not good. Now, I don't think you want to be spending your time comparing everything to Weimar, Germany. I just don't think I hear it every day. I hear these people are fascists. These people are anti-fascists. This corporation is fascist. The government's fascist. These are Nazis. I don't want to use the word Nazis because I think it deranks me in the search terms. Too late. Am I a glass half full kind of guy? I don't think that's been my strong point. But at the same time, I just don't want to. I don't think sometimes, what is it? History doesn't rhyme, but it repeats. I don't remember. And I'm sorry. I'm tired. My nose itches. Anyway, even if the government, my argument would be, probably hold this against me down the road, but the government is not enforcing the rules of capitalism. They're not writing the rules. They're not making the playing field anywhere close to free and fair. They're not even trying. It's crony capitalism we have, and it's terrible. And I don't know how it's going to get better. So, in that sense, put all the restrictions you want to. You know who it's going to benefit. It's not going to benefit the people at the end of the day, the real people. Moving on, unusual whales. I thought this was, I don't know if this is true. Okay. I don't know if we're having fun, but it says this house was listed on Zillow for $1.5 million. Here's a photo from the listing. And it's a house literally on fire. Moving on. This was important to me. I like it just so look, it says subprime auto loan delinquencies rise to 2019 levels. A dive into subprime lending and securitization. Surge of delinquencies not caused by unemployment, but by taking big risks, hoping for big profits and getting slapped, just as in 2019. Okay, so let's try to kind of, how do I put this? Okay, so surge of delinquencies not caused by unemployment, but by taking big risks, hoping for big profits and getting slapped, just in 2019. Now, what does this mean? I'm going to look at it two different ways. One, there has been discussions or talk that I've heard where someone could buy like a brand new Corvette, okay, if they could get their hands on one, and they could instantly go out and sell it for like $20,000 or $30,000 more. That's what I heard. I don't know if it's true. The idea that you would speculate on automobiles is not something that I would do. That and airlines, also not something I would do. However, does this mean that that the lenders were looking to take subprime lending and its big risks and big profits, and that's why people are getting slapped? That it was the subprime borrowers were always a credit risk, and you were just going in that market because you could make a good amount of money. Those are two ways in which cheap credit, no matter what you say, cheap credit is the driver of the behavior. Some would say artificially low credit, in the sense, availability, not, subprime is obviously a dig on your credit records. But how would I put this? I don't think this is a good thing. When I see the savings rate combined with the delinquency rate in autos, I don't find that to be good. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I think many people believed once the pandemic, got in a full swing and we were getting checks. I do believe that many people, maybe 20% of that population, believed that they were going to get checks for the rest of their lives. And why wouldn't they? There was always going to be something wrong in America that could be fixed by writing checks, right? This made me laugh. A day in the life of video, but it was just me crying at my desk for 8 hours. Have you seen the ridiculous Facebook posts, the Instagram posts, the TikTok posts of the people that work in the, they work in the tech industry, they work at Google, Facebook, and they get up at like 10 in the morning and they go have a latte, and then they go to work and it's like Disneyland and there's all this stuff. I mean, like, if you really want to make yourself hated, do one of those videos. It just doesn't come across well. It doesn't come across well. Darth Powell, finally, it says the stories about people trying to trade in their cards they overpaid from last year only to find they're ridiculously upside down and can't cover the difference will never get old. And so this kind of goes into what we're talking about. This is also a two different direction thing. These people possibly buying cars and thinking that they're going to sell them for higher. And then also in the real estate business, people are making fun of those real estate agents. A lot of them are showy. They're very showy. They're like a peacock, beautiful plumage. And that involves automobiles, clothing, and jewelry. And, some of these guys have bought these G-Wagons and things like that, and they've gone down in value significantly. Plus, it's hard to make the payments when you're not making any money in real estate. My car situation. We talked about, I'm driving a Subaru where the transmission seems to be going out. And I own no second car. You would not catch me in a G-Wagon. I don't want you to see my plumage as a real estate agent. To me, if I saw that, okay, knowing the business like I do, if I saw this ridiculously, jewelry, clothing, car, that guy is going to take me for a ride, okay? And not in a good way. Like I'm going to get screwed in this deal. That's what I think. I don't know how many other people think that, but that's what I think when I see them. Because I know some of the guys that are dressed like that, and I know how they treat their clients, and they're not people you want to be using, but it seems to work. Okay, now we're going to go into the article section of our program tonight. I don't know. I'm not going to get to all of them because there's a lot, and I don't want to do this. But let's look at some stuff, and some of it's dated. I didn't get to it because of the microphone issues and everything else. But let's get started on this first one. This is from Zero Hedge. Housing starts building permits plunged in December. It's about to get worse. Well, that doesn't sound good. U.S. housing starts and building permits both declined in December, 1.4% month over month and 1.6% month over month, respectively, with starts better than expected, but forward-looking permits below expectations. This is the third straight month of declines in permits and fourth straight drop in starts. This is from Bloomberg. It says the total starts and permits hit new cycle lows back to the 2020 lockdown levels. Well, that's not good. It says single-family building permits tumbled for the 10th straight month, While multifamily starts rebounded notably in December, the picture was the opposite for housing starts, where single family starts soared 11% month over month, while multifamily starts plunged 18% month over month. Now look, we get conflicting information, right? And when we get this information, we have to kind of process the information based on what we are seeing in the marketplace. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to add context to these stories. Okay. So in St. Louis right now, single family home sales still strong enough. That is, you put a house out there on the market. It's a nice house. It's priced correctly. You're going to get an offer the first weekend. Okay? I have no doubt. It's on the margins. It's if you are buying a house and if you are selling a house and the house is very, very dated and you've got a stupid premium price, you think it's June of 2022, you're going to get hurt. Okay? You're not going to get a good deal. That's just the way it is for me. Now, this is kind of important because the narrative has been, look, there's not enough homes for people to buy. If we get more supply of homes, then, now I'm saying what the narrative has been. I'm not saying that I believe this, that the more houses that come online for purchase, the lower the prices overall will be. And that's considered a good thing. The bear case that I am saying is I think that this supply situation is artificial. The demand is artificial. I apologize. It is artificial, that there's not really that many people out there that need houses as much as the new construction that we've already done can account for, and that you're going to see a glut of housing, which doesn't hurt my feelings because, again, no new home builders, not my friends. So, but that's where I'm at. If new housing starts are lower, is that good management by the new home construction companies? Because they foresee or they believe that housing is getting weaker, and it's saving their bottom line. Is that a bad thing? Or it's allowing them to continue in business should things go drastically wrong? I don't think that's bad. Finally, to summarize, in 2022, about 1 million one-family houses were started, down 10% from 2021. Is that what Jay Powell wants? More scarcity, less supply. See, that's a different opinion than I have. Discuss in the comments or chat. This is an interesting article. It was on Realtor.com. I don't know. It was on our Facebook page. We did post it to Facebook on the brokerage Facebook page. I just want you to go over it with me. I've thought about it, and I thought it'd be kind of fun to go over it some more. It says, are curse words and decor funny or tacky? The blank lowdown on profanity in the home. Now, if you know my show, even to be YouTube friendly is not the case. I typically don't curse on purpose. If I let one fly, it's because, I wasn't paying attention. I'm not that way. And certainly in my house, I'm just not the person that would have curse words on the throw pillows or on the wall. I think it sets a bad example to my children. I think it sets a bad example to everyone. And I don't find it offensive as much as I just find it kind of lowbrow and not something I would do. Now, my stepson has coasters that have curse words on them, and he's very proud of them. And maybe it's a generational thing. He's in his 20s. So it says, when you spy a throw pillow that makes you blush, it can be pretty hilarious, but at the same time, the same accessory you think is hilarious might offend or downright upset some folks. It says, we've been in homes with F-bombs on coasters. That's what he has. Artwork, dish towels, throw pillows, and even bowl cozies. I don't know what a bowl cozy is. Let me know in the comments or the chat. And this isn't decor you need to source on the dark web. It's all right there on wholesome sites like Etsy. So if you're having company over or trying to sell your home, should you hide that profanity-laced dish towel or display it proudly? After polling the design pros and real estate agents, We've learned the answer falls somewhere in the middle. It doesn't fall in the middle for me at all. Am I not a real estate pro? Do we need to define what a real estate pro is? It says, before you hang that F-bomb poster in your hallway, read this. Mind your manners. Yep, there's some etiquette connected to home decor that's a little on the dirty side. Sure, swear words are now allowed on TV, but putting those words on are they? But putting those words on permanent display might upset some people you care about. So it's a good idea to gauge the mindset of your family and friends to see how they might react to that racing needlepoint sampler. Would your mother-in-law Blanche, if she babysits your title twice a week, don't hang it where she can see it? But I mean, if you've already got problems with your family looking at these things, you definitely don't want to have it out for a listing. On the other hand, if your family swears like a bunch of sailors on shore leave, feel free to add more curse words to your decor. I don't know about that. What are we doing? What are we doing? It says, think about sales prospects. And I believe that. So here's some pillows. Now, I would never on a listing ever think that was a good idea. Never. Oh my God. Do you really want people to think that way when they're looking at your couch? I mean, they're trying to picture themselves in that space, and now you're putting that there. It says, are you listing your home in the near future? Then making even one potential buyer feel uncomfortable with some dirty decor isn't worth it. That's right. That's the answer. It's not like you can't. It's that you shouldn't. Okay? Not that you can't. Free speech and all wonderful things. You just probably shouldn't. And that's where I think people get tripped up all the time these days. It all depends on the type of property you have. But in the end, he admits let's say a guy with Compass in New York City, but in the end, he admits he'd likely remove the offending object, especially if the curse is displayed for shock value. And I would not remove it personally. I don't think that's a good idea. I think I would say to the seller, hey, man, we need to move these things. And here's why. I don't have a problem with it. And then if they say, look, man, I want to have curse words everywhere. I want to have all kinds of objects and things around the house that are inappropriate. And I don't care. I don't care about selling the house tomorrow. I don't care selling it for the best price. Then it's fine. But if you come at me later because you've got all this crap in your house, it's terrible, and you wanted a premium price on it, don't be mad at me. You're the one that picked this stupid stuff. It says if you're looking to move, it's also wise to consider the kind of property you're offering. I understand the concept of being punk rock with your decor, but it has to match what you're selling and possibly mesh with the presumed buyer profile in your area. I agree with that. We often look at houses and say, who would buy this house? Who is the ideal person for this house? And painting in the home is similar to nude or semi-nude photography on the walls. If these pictures don't match the aesthetic around them, I wouldn't include them. He says, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I can't imagine. And you say, well, it's fine art. It's like, Like Jamie Lee Curtis, she has a picture of a baby in a freaking, or a small child that's naked in a, what's that thing called? A suitcase on her wall? It's gross. Look, it's gross. Don't at me. I don't care. I have standards. That's one of them. It says consider balance and harmony, yet one little wall hanging can have unseen consequences. She states plainly that she's not a fan of negative imagery or expressions and wouldn't recommend it to clients. I think that's right. She says, there's a feng shui belief that you shouldn't surround yourself with bad or unhappy reminders, but instead focus on the positive. Use affirming and inspirational choices in your decor. I think that's fair. I mean, I wouldn't do affirming and inspirational myself. I mean, but if it's on the wall, it's on the wall. Like this here, it says if you quit once, it becomes a habit, never quit. I don't know who that is that wrote that, but I mean, I get it. It says you might not be keen on bright orange wall or fuchsia shag carpet in the living room of your own bedroom, but these shockingly playful hues are just right for a tween or teen, and the same holds for off-color home accessories. I can certainly see these items in a team space because that's where a tiny little angsty vibe and energy are okay. Said Halpern. In fact, if you can stand, let your teen go to town with all the expressions here she thinks is fun, you can always shut the door. I do think, like when you go into a house, okay, and you're with young buyers, okay, with no kids, and they see a nursery, okay, with the pink walls and everything, oh my God, sold. Okay. Teens? Nobody really wants to deal with that. Like, no. Like your gaming rig and like blood red walls. No. Make it tiny. It says, sometimes it's sort of playful to happen upon a throw pillow with a body expression on it, or one with a needlepoint display of two people doing something private. One way to keep your favorite item in the rotation is to bear it with a bunch of other pillows on a big couch or bed, or hang the framed defender up high in a large wall gallery where only you will notice it. Everyone will notice it. Everyone will notice it. Don't. It says skew towards whimsy. If you're ready to embrace taste, O'Brien suggests a bit of fun or tongue-in-cheek references that can add personality to a home. Our example includes pillows that feature hashtags, punctuation, or popular sayings. Like, so hashtag goblin mode. See what I did there? Or be witty when it comes to wall hangings or posters or paper, particularly where irreverence is allowed or even expected, like a masculine den or the laundry room. I have a man cave, and it's like my cave, my rules. But my wife bought it, or the stepkids, and so it's like, I'll leave it up there because I out of respect for my family that bought it. It says, I once found original art for a powder room with the words flower painting coming soon. I thought that was clever. I enjoyed hanging up rather than formal wallpaper. Well, that's funny. Nothing wrong with being clever, but that's certainly not curse words or sexual images on the wall. So when it comes to your off-color decor, display it proudly for yourself if it makes you smile. If it makes other people cringe, maybe hide it away when you have company or an open house. Yeah. I mean, if you're going to list a house, a lot of times people will say, John, should I have religious symbols on the wall? Whatever, not any one of them. Whatever religion you are, you want to have it on there, fine. But like, if you want to have like bloody, terrible imagery, like maybe you're a witch or something and you want like, no, not so much. Not so much. And you say, well, should you have family pictures on the wall? I mean, some if you want, but just don't go overboard. Or if your family's particularly ugly, take them off. Take them off the wall. Most of the pictures in my house are of my family. They're not of me. And that's my wife that did those. So I mean, I already know how that's going. Moving on. This will be the last article we do. I'm kind of running out of steam. I'm sorry in advance. By the way, I've got new lighting coming. I don't have it done. Like everything else. And I'm going to have to change the settings on my camera, but I don't have that done either. It just adds to it. It just adds to it. Latest evidence that Fed share, what is this? Buyer cancellation rate up at the top U.S. home builder surpasses 2008 levels. That doesn't sound good, right? This came out the 18th. It says, the latest evidence that Fed Chair Jerome Powell's most aggressive interest rate hikes in a generation and spiking mortgage rates might trigger a housing reset is the latest earnings reports from KB Home, one of the nation's largely publicly traded home builders. Now, the mortgage rates have kind of been going down. We were at 7% a while back. What caught our attention in the report was the skyrocketing buyer cancellation rate in the fourth quarter. The rate spiked to 68%, up from 35% in the third quarter, and up from 13% in the fourth quarter of 2021. Surprising that they had 13% in 2021 in the fourth quarter. It says current conditions remain challenging. High mortgage rates and persistent inflation, together with an uncertain economy, have made home buyers more cautious since the middle of last year. As such, in the fourth quarter, we prioritized delivering our large backlog and protecting our high margins over taking steps to stimulate additional sales during this seasonally slower time frame. Okay, well, what does that mean? So in the fourth quarter, we prioritized delivering our large backlog. So what they're doing is they're getting rid of any spec homes that they might have, and they'll probably take discounts on houses that are like the last 2 or 3 in the neighborhood, like the last lots. They're probably saying, bring us a deal. And then protecting our high margins over taking steps to stimulate additional sales during this seasonally slower time frame. So what would that be? Lowered advertising. Probably the advertising is tied in with like free upgrades. That's probably gone. They're just probably not offering them. But they're not discounting the lot price or the home as built price yet. They should be at 68%. That's terrible. For some context, a 68% cancellation rate surpasses even the darkest days of the 2008 housing crash. The average back then was about 47%. That's not good. It says Nick Gurley, we're going with that, founder of Real Estate Reventure Consulting, expanded more on the KB cancellation rate crisis. He said the people walking away from their contracts could spark a massive inventory pileup. This is a good thing, considering housing inventories nationwide are tight, though too much supply could send home prices tumbling because of an affordability crisis. Here's more from Gurley. It says, this is scary. I think I saw this tweet. KB Homes, a large home builder, just reported 68% cancel rate, meaning that over 2/3 of home buyers walked away from their contracts in the quarter, leaving KB Homes with a massive pileup of inventory. Last year, the cancel rate was only 13%. Now, I don't know KB Homes' building schedule as far as houses under contract. I know that in St. Louis, the last time I represented a new home construction buyer, from start to finish was about 6 months. I think it was 6 months. Sure wasn't 6 weeks. I don't know what the nature of the cancellations would be, meaning did someone buy a home, the company start building the home, and then the person canceled? Or did the person late in the game buy a home, it didn't even get under construction yet, and then with the economy sinking, they decided to cancel? You say, well, John, what difference does that make? Well, it makes difference in inventory. If they have a lot of inventory, they have to do something. But I would argue that they were buying I believe that the home builders were buying land at prices where they could still make a profit, even if they had to cut their prices pretty dramatically. It says this type of cancel rate is even worse than what happened in the 2008 crash. Back then, builders like D.R. Horton peaked at 50% cancel rate, and we already blew past that late in 2022. The result is a massive pileup of new inventory. Data from Zonda shows that national quick move-in inventory is about 32,000. That's up 200% from a year ago and up 50% from pre-pandemic 2019 levels. Now look, massive pileup of new home inventory to me means this is people that can't afford a home. Okay. So the more that you put out there isn't going to solve that problem, the affordability problem, yet. And when it does, it's not great. And there's even more new homes coming in 2023 because even as builders have cut back on starts, they're still building nearly 800,000 single homes actively under construction, near the highest level of all time, many of which will hit the market in 2023. Well, that's not good. Is it? So here's the fact pattern for builders: horrible buyer demand, record cancellations, future inventory even higher based on homes under construction. You would think that builder stocks would be tanking, right? Wrong. KB Homes, the builder with 68% cancellations, is actually up on stock price over the last month and also up over the last 6 months. D.R. Horton, the largest builder in America, is trading near their all-time high at $95, and they're 85% over the past 5 years. They're up. Home builder stocks are a massive bubble right now. Home buyer demand is literally at its lowest level since the 2008 crash. Yet builder stocks are trading near all-time highs. Makes no sense. It does make sense if you are like me and believe that people follow stories, not necessarily financials. And the story had been that the housing industry was very, very hot. And if you are a fund manager and you don't have exposure to housing, when everybody knows that housing is so great, you lose clients, no matter what the performance is. You have to own these companies. It's like if you have a mutual fund, how do you not own Google? It doesn't matter what Google's doing now. How do you not own Apple? It doesn't matter what Apple's doing now. It's the name. They have the name. Apple has done well historically, therefore you should have it in your fund. And I don't think that's great. I don't think that's right, but I just think that's the way it is. Until you look at the PE ratio for builders and you realize they're actually cheap based on earnings. D.R. Horton 5.8 price earnings, KB Homes is 4.1 to price earnings. So investors say to themselves, wow, I can get a good value by buying builder stocks even in a house crash recession. Look, when I was around, I was playing in the stock market in 2007. And somebody on, it was either thestreet.com or like Motley Fool, the 5 best value stocks, Bear Stearns was one of them. Best value stocks. Bear Stearns went out of business. they went poof. They were a value stock. So I don't really trust the value. I don't really trust authors writing on value stocks. If I like coal was a great stock 10 years ago, like Arch Coal in St. Louis. I mean, wonderful. And then it just tanked. And I don't know what it's doing right now, but like it couldn't be that bad forever. They literally produce coal, and coal is needed for, what do they call it? Power plants. But what I'm trying to say there is investors favor things at times, you know, like it's favored status. So like you get away with it. Industries are like that too. Like sectors of industry. I mean, like tech has been hot. Finance related stuff has been hot. Oil and gas down, but we still use a tremendous amount of oil and gas, and we're going to continue to need to. So I suspect at some point in time, those stocks will turn. I'm not a stock investor, or I'm an investor I do invest, but not much. And I'm not trying to sell you my book. I don't individually own any stocks. I own a fund. I feel like that disclosure should just be fair between you and I. It says the problem, home builder earnings lagged by about 12 to 18 months. Through most of 2022, when builders announced earnings, it was income based on contracts signed from buyers in 2021. And during the peak of the housing bubble, creating low PE ratios and the illusion of value. I agree with that. But now that the calendar is 2023 and we've had 6 months of suppressed sales and cancel rates are high, builders are going to have some brutal earnings reports coming up. Expect more than 50% cancel rates. Expect huge year-over-year declines in earnings. The builder stock bubble is a great example of the mania that still exists today in the market. Fundamentals are clearly saying big issues for housing market and builder earnings in 2023, but investors are completely ignoring it. Recall the National Association of Home Builders conference as its lowest level since mid-2012. Gurley's latest blog post on Reventure indicates that this is a recipe for builder stock crash in 2023. Prepare for big declines. And perhaps the second housing bubble of the 21st century has not just peaked, but it's over. I don't know what that means. I don't know. Is it over? I thought we had a pretty good show tonight. What did you think? Didn't see much in the comments. Didn't see anything in the chat. Maybe you guys forgot I existed. And if that's true, look, I'm just telling you right now, my goal for the show is to get better constantly. My goal for why I do this is to let people know, like, look, this is who I am. I mean, I'm not different off camera. If you want someone to help you buy a home in St. Louis, if you want someone to give you some advice based on a vast history of performance, you should probably check me out. If you're on the fence about, like, who do I want to use as my buyer's agent? Who do I want to use as my listing agent? Here I am. This is me. It would be the same way in person. So I do plan on expanding expanding my footprint, streaming to more places, and getting the word out that, you know, hey, this is what I do. I'm John Ching from Deerwood Realty. We do a live stream. We have a brokerage. We have some other things, but I'm not going to talk about that tonight. Anyway, with that, I'm going to head out. Look, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I will catch you on the next one.